He's a fine writer, and let's welcome Donall Dempsey.
There are two things that I love. One is the sound of words, and two is the fact that words play with each other. I'm going to read you two tankers in Irish.
Oh, lovely.
This is called Grogel Macree, which means bright love of my heart. Irish, this is an archaic word, but because it's archaic I like to use it every time. The term is called Ulastra, and Ulastra means the day before yesterday. Why you'd want that terminology, I don't know. Grogel Macree. Ulastra the gra gan istam, Agnes the gra gach in rud gach off. The day before yesterday, your love unknown to me, but now your love everything, everywhere. And this is called Lesh is More. The Irish word lesh. Do you remember this one, Agnes?
I can't remember. It's just I know it's a pun.
Well, it's less is more. But the Irish word lesh just means with. Yeah? But lesh is a very big word, so lesh is more. Lesh is big. Alright? Now, as well as meaning with, it also means his, also, thigh, naked. So, we get this sort of stuff. Lesh is more. Oh, via lesh, lesh. Ach vi lesh, 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 lesh. Ach, on fun, on fun. A lot is exposed. Oh, her thigh was naked, and a thigh of his was naked too. Oh, the desire, the desire. I should have pointed out that the Irish for desire is fun. And as you know, desire is a lot of fun. As any reference is the case. I stopped writing for about 15 years for various reasons. And the only thing that brought me back to words is that I got a head injury and I got paralysed and I couldn't talk. And I had to spend a year trying to open my eye and being able to close it again and all that. So that's where all the energy went into. And I was determined to speak properly again, and that's what drove me back into poetry. So this is my first poem after 15 years. It's my Whistling Past the Graveyard poem. It's my hope that the light at the end of the tunnel is indeed the light at the end of the tunnel and not another fast train coming through. Parallel lines do not meet. Happiness is not a mathematical formula that one can apply to supply an answer. Rather, it is the sum of who you are multiplied by who you are willing to be. Happiness, like mathematics, is something I was never ever any good at, and always made me weep with equal parts desperation, exasperation and frustration, or deaf for short. For example, if it took a man a lifetime to dig himself into a hole, how long would it take for half the man he used to be to dig himself out again? Questions such as this only cause me grief. In mathematics, like Latin, which I could also never know, I would cheat and repeat words full of sound and no sense, e.g. the cares of the hippopotamus are equal to some of the cares that the other two hippopotami confide. Happiness, like mathematics, was all Greek to me. I don't know, that's all I know. But I do know that happiness happens every now and then. The only trick is to be aware that it's there, and that parallel lines do meet at infinity. Thanks. Then when I go to Italy, we stay between two very beautiful towns. We stay between Praiano, which is a small little villagey town, and a more touristy one called Positano. And in between, on our balcony, we go and live in a balcony and exist nakedly and write nakedly and paint nakedly, do everything nakedly. And we gaze out across the sea to the horizon, and Capri sits on the horizon. So this is a love poem. I only write love poems, so this is a love poem to an area. It's called Come Vienna, Vienna. How it comes, it comes. That's what was on the menu that night. It was the chef's surprise. The sun is preaching her sermon to the town of Praiano that clings to the cliffs in wonder. Here in her hand of light and water, She tells the parables of pebbles. One wave waves to another as she walks upon the water. Bells undress time, disrobe her of her hours. Lemons grow big-bellied on branches, pregnant with yellow. The juice of the future praying in a church of trees. Here a congregation of butterflies and bees. Grapes dream of being turned into wine. Figs ripen with pleasure. The gods of pagan times survive disguised as statues. I only believing in the religion of a woman's laughter. And even now, as darkness grows upon the roads, it is as if the sunlight never leaves, only changes colour, and the sunlight darkens only to blossom into the next morning in love with time. This goes back into my childhood, to my first dancing partner. My first dancing partner was dead long before I actually came to know him. So this is called Come Dancing. I take the skeleton's hand and man, do we dance. I clasp his bony hand in mine, give him a high five, and dude, we jive. No one can touch us now, we're in a world of our own. We shake, rattle and roll, yeah, shake, rattle and roll. Let me get into that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans. The skeleton flashes me a toothy grin. Man, you the one, what a groove we're in. The transistorized air is alive as song after song drives me on. The skeleton doesn't break sweat. Me, my scalp prickles, sweat trickles down my spine. Sunlight spills in the window and the dust motes go wild. The skeleton places a bony hand on my clavicle, and I place my hand on his sacroiliac. We waltz eye socket to eye socket and patella to patella. Gene Kelly sings, what a great day it's been, what a rare mood I'm in. Why, it's almost like being in love. He's a fine medical specimen. He dangles from a thread in his head, and the slightest breeze moves him, gets him going. I call him Mr. Bow Jangles. He lives in my dad's army sports stores. From the inner sanctum of his room, my dad's army voice booms, Donall, leave that bloody skeleton alone, and goes back to counting his balls. The ledger grows and grows. He mutters and mumbles to himself. Balls, soccer, 50-50. Balls, rugby, 50-50. Balls, medicine, 50-50. He intones as if chanting a mantra. I shuffle out, trying to be cool. In this heat, yo, see you later, Bo. Years later, I see him in a tiny newspaper article. Apparently, the army realise they've got a real-life skeleton on their hands and decide to do the decent thing, remembering the man he's been, and bury him with full military honours. Flag-draped coffin and shots fired into the air to scare the crows away. I wish I could have been there to say my goodbyes. I smile and whisper a little prayer. Yo, see you later, Bo. This is my very first ever Shakespeare. It's called Sister Hamlet. The other influence on my work is that I grew up with 7 sisters, and they're my biggest influence on me, just being around 7 women of different various ages, at different stages. So this is Imelda. Sister Hamlet. Oh, I still remember your Hamlet, the best production I ever saw. You home from school, wrapping yourself in the crimson curtain of our living room and stabbing yourself in the arras and crying, a rat, and how something or other was rotten, and bringing the curtain down upon your dying, annoying our mother, critical of your overheated performance. She sending us like a bad review, scampering. I will remember your Shakespeare to my dying day, your eyes wild, your hair flying, and how with an entire cast of you acted it out to my open and gasping mouth, drinking you in with my thirsty mind. Shakespeare comes startlingly alive, me peppered with beauty and spittle. Oh, Sister Hamlet, I still live in the wonder of your telling. That's how literature passed. It was very much an oral act rather than anything that you read. This is called Her Laughter. Tenderly I set the trap with words to catch the flight of her laughter. Her laughter flew up into the air, turned into an enormous bouquet, each petal a butterfly, until my mind fluttered with each delicious delight, and the room became a gilded box, that housed the treasure of her laughter, floating out of the window until it touched the stars. This is called Parallel Universe. Hopelessly I stand, curls plastered to my skull. The bus stop sprouting mushroom umbrellas. Each pass